I'm saying that there are people that were the people that did this to both me and Corey that are still working, they're still out there, and they're some of the richest, most powerful people in this business.
If you're 7 years old and somebody, which I was trying to say this to my friends who had children, you're 7 years old and someone is stroking your it feels good, even though you don't have a name for what that is.
I can tell you that the #1 problem in Hollywood was and is and always will be.
Nobody talks about.
It's the big secret.
And it's widespread?
Oh, yeah.
Oprah's name is once again making waves in the latest Diddy drama. With Diddy now cooling his heels behind bars, the court documents have dropped and they're shaking up Tinseltown.
Their names are going to come out. Sean will talk. That's why Jay-Z is running. That's why Jay-Z is nervous.
But it's not just Diddy who's in the hot seat. Corey Feldman has stepped forward, exposing some jaw-dropping claims that could link Oprah to this shocking scandal.
It's gonna be in a dimension it's never been.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
The greatest thing floating in 2024. Mark the words. No way. in a whole different realm of business.
So, what did Corey reveal? And why are so many celebs sweating bullets right now? Are we really facing a situation where one of the most influential figures in the media might be implicated? And just how deep does this rabbit hole go? Let's find out. According to Feldman, Hollywood has a history of sacrificing those who challenge its authority or refuse to play by its rules. But what exactly has Feldman revealed, and why might it put him in danger?
They're still working, they're still out there, and they're some of the richest, most powerful people in this business.
Corey Feldman has had a wild ride as a child actor, and he's not shy about sharing his crazy experiences. He's called out some serious problems in the industry, saying it's a place where power and influence can really mess with people's lives. Lately, he's been taking shots at Oprah, claiming she's part of the problem and keeping the Hollywood silence going strong.
There's one person to blame in the death of Corey Haim, and that person happens to be a Hollywood mogul. And that person needs to be exposed, but unfortunately, I can't be the one to do it. But the person that knows who did it and knows who he is watching right now, I guarantee you.
Young artists have been stepping up and sharing the dark side of Hollywood lately, and some of their stories are pretty disturbing, but not all of them get the spotlight they need. Look at Corey Feldman. He's been trying to shine a light on the he faced in the industry, but too often, people just brush his claims aside. Still, he didn't give up and kept pushing to share his truth.
And that we called Marty Weiss. And Marty Weiss was a guy who'd been kidnapping me since I was 11 years old. He was part of the Science Fiction Awards or whatever it was called.
For many aspiring actors, Hollywood is the ultimate dream come true. But recent revelations have shed light on the industry's darker side. Lots of celebrities have come forward with some pretty disturbing stories, revealing harsh realities that have ignited conversations and, in some cases, backlash from the public. His revelations about the A he faced during his career, especially during his childhood years, extended beyond Hollywood. He also disclosed that his struggles with substance A later in life were partly a result of the trauma he endured during those difficult years. And
like, we did it, we had fun. It was like, you know, we were talking, we were sitting in this girl's apartment. She takes me out driving. She taught me how to drive a stick shift, high on coke for the first time.
During one of his interviews, he said,
I can tell you that the #1 problem in Hollywood was and is and always will be.
Nobody talks about.
It's the big secret.
His decision to speak out and potentially disclose the names of those who harmed him and Corey Haim underscores the persistent issues of mistreatment in the entertainment industry, especially concerning child actors. Similar to Brooke Shields, who also faced challenges and exploitation at a young age, Feldman's revelations emphasize the urgent need for heightened awareness and protection for young performers. By bringing these issues to light, Feldman has sparked essential conversations that could catalyze significant changes in how the industry addresses and prevents mistreatment, ensuring the well-being and safety of its youngest members.
You freeze. You're in shock. I mean, children aren't supposed to handle that sort of stuff.
He has always been pretty vocal about the dark side of Hollywood. But as he got more outspoken, some people in the industry tried to shut him down. One of those people was Diddy, who got help from Oprah. Her name has popped up in a lot of questionable headlines lately, and now people are trying to connect the dots with Diddy's recent lawsuit. The suit claims that Diddy's parties often involved underage individuals, and there's speculation that Oprah might have been involved in supplying him with those people. Oprah's been through her fair share of controversies, accusations of smear campaigns against critics, sabotaging careers, and even some really disturbing claims.
Oprah legitimized the notorious criminal Joe Teixeira, aka John of God, as a miraculous faith healer one who could cure cancer.
Back in 2007, Oprah Winfrey decided to open a boarding school in South Africa, inspired by Nelson Mandela. She named it the Leadership Academy for Girls. Despite opposition from the South African government due to its high costs in a poor area, the school opened with facilities like salons and gyms, which raised eyebrows. There have been scandals at the school over the years, though conspiracy theories about HT are unsubstantiated.
Look up, man.
So Oprah built this $40 million school in South Africa, and they had 152 students attend. Oprah actually handpicked the 152 students who attended her school, but it wasn't long until some of these students were being harmed by one of the employees of the school. Her name is Virginia, and she was 27 years old at the time, and she was charged with 13 counts of getting inappropriate with the kids. Virginia got physical with at least 6 students aged 13 to 15. So these students were handpicked by Oprah to go and live at this academy, and one of these employees who is managing the dorm is physically touching them and doing things to them and harming them. The A scandal that has rocked Oprah Winfrey's South African school for girls does not reflect badly on the famous talk show host, wrote The Times, a Johannesburg newspaper, in an editorial. It reflects badly on this nation, and it should not be surprising that it manifested itself in Oprah's school. Oprah should not be condemned for allegations made against this matron. She should be praised for her decision to aggressively deal with it. This incident was a black mark for South Africa, which has had issues with children being harmed by school employees. Oprah's decision to place these students in harm's way by an employee she selected was deeply concerning. After the news about Virginia broke, Oprah took action by traveling to South Africa with a team of investigators to uncover the full extent of what happened at the academy.
6 students of the 152 accepted students by Oprah to attend the institution, laying accusations on the dorm matron Virginia Tinley Basketball.
So it's a good thing Oprah went down to that school in South Africa to investigate because, her name's all over it. And yeah, unfortunately, that Virginia employee got cleared of all charges. Justice systems, they're messed up everywhere, right? And get this. Virginia turned around and tried to sue Oprah for defamation, even though she was found innocent. But hey, that's not the only scandal to come out of Oprah's school. It's been one after another since it opened. Less than 2 years later, there was another incident where some students were involved in physical altercations. A 15-year-old urged the victims to keep quiet and not tell their parents or investigators. 7 students ended up suspended from the school for allegedly intimidating others and engaging in inappropriate behavior. A letter sent to one of the suspended girls' parents reportedly read, "You have been found guilty of physical contact of a S nature with another pupil on campus, bullying other girls on campus, and of being dishonest by not telling investigators the whole truth." So people are puzzled why Oprah visited the school less than a year ago to sort things out. Yet issues like this are still happening. How does a 15-year-old get away with pressuring their schoolmates into keeping quiet and lying to officials about it? And this next incident is even more disturbing. Less than 2 years after that second scandal, cops discovered a dead newborn at Oprah's school in South Africa. One of her hand-picked students, who hasn't been named, gave birth there and, instead of getting help, reportedly stuffed the baby in her backpack. She ended up in the hospital later for bleeding, probably from giving birth in the school. It's a really sad and messed up situation. While Oprah can't control everything in her students' lives, she does have a say in who she associates with. So, when people think of Oprah Winfrey, they often can't help but link her to Harvey Weinstein. They've been friends for over 2 decades, and many argue there's no way Oprah didn't know about his shady reputation, which has been around since the 90s. When he faced all those accusations and got canceled, Oprah allegedly reached out to support him, although her team denies it. Because of their long friendship and the sympathy she's shown him, people are left wondering why Oprah would stick by someone like him, especially considering his disgusting behavior. They had a really close friendship, and the photos make it seem that way. Some even believe Oprah might have encouraged actresses to get involved with Harvey Weinstein. Rose McGowan tweeted about it saying, "I am glad more are seeing the ugly truth of it, Oprah. I wish she were real, but she isn't." From being pals with Weinstein to abandoning and destroying Russell Simmons' sick victims, she is about supporting a sick power structure for personal gain. She is as fake as they come. #Lizard. Another person who spoke against Oprah is singer Seal. He also accused Oprah of facilitating Jeffrey and Harvey. The nature of Oprah's allegedly purported relationship with Jeffrey Epstein is currently shrouded in a great deal of mystery. As can be seen from the conversation that has taken place online, many people are under the impression that Oprah was involved in Epstein's choice of victims. There was even the possibility that the Floridian residents who accused Oprah of being a part of an organization that dealt with HT were right in their assertions. Later on, however, Oprah disproved all of these rumors that were circulating on Twitter, saying, "Just got a phone call that my name is trending, and being trolled for some awful fake thing. It's not true. Haven't been raided or arrested," she wrote. "Just sanitizing and self-distancing with the rest of the world. Stay safe, everybody." Oprah has tried to address Harvey Weinstein publicly, but it seems like she never quite gets to the heart of the matter. Some people feel she's more about protecting him than condemning his actions.
Whatever is the silver lining. And so I think this is a watershed moment. And if we make this just about Harvey Weinstein, then we will have lost this moment.
It seems like Oprah is trying to shift the focus away from Harvey Weinstein and make it all about everyone else involved. But there's a noticeable difference in how she handles situations with people like Weinstein compared to someone like Michael Jackson. For example, when the documentary Untouchable about Weinstein premiered at Sundance with barely any media buzz, Oprah didn't give it any attention. Yet, when Leaving Neverland, the documentary about Michael Jackson came out, she was all over it, even hosting a special show where she interviewed Jackson's accusers. There were no plans to invite Weinstein's victims to her show. It's interesting how she seems to protect her friend Weinstein while spotlighting stories about figures like Jackson. What's even more puzzling is that Harvey Weinstein is a convicted criminal, right? We all know he did some terrible things, so why isn't Oprah calling him out? Michael Jackson has been gone for over a decade, so he can't defend himself against any of Oprah's accusations. Meanwhile, Weinstein is still around, and there are tons of victims out there. Where's his side of the story? And remember when Oprah did that special after the Leaving Neverland documentary? There's a clip from the show that looks like Oprah is kind of justifying bad behavior. It was tricky to find because it seems like Oprah's team wants to bury it.
If you're 7 years old and somebody, which I was trying to say this to my friends who had children, you're 7 years old and someone is your, it feels good. Right. Even though you don't have a name for what that is. And I have said for years, if the abuse is any good, you won't even know it's happened. You will be in it and you won't even know.
People can see what Oprah was trying to convey, but some of her comments were really off-putting. It almost felt like she was downplaying the seriousness of the trauma. It definitely seems like she's exploiting Michael Jackson and his victims just to put on a show. If she really cared about victims, you'd think she'd be talking about others too, like her buddy Harvey Weinstein. The whole Michael Jackson-Oprah saga goes way back to 1993 when he did that famous interview on her show. It was a massive deal for both of them. She interviewed his family over the years, and after he passed, she came out with these allegations and stories from victims. Some folks think Michael did wrong, while others don't. But Oprah's been relentless in exploiting him even after his death. Then there's John of God, another celebrity Oprah brought into the spotlight. By featuring him on her show, Oprah basically gave him credibility. But here's the creepy part. Turns out, he's a criminal. John of God ran a healing center in Brazil where he claimed to use spiritual powers to help people. But instead, he was them. It's unsettling that Oprah seems to surround herself with these shady characters who harm others. There's a horrifying story about him. A woman during a private session at his center. He'd manipulate vulnerable people, using his so-called healing powers for his own selfish gains. Oprah's show gave him a ton of success and new clients, which is really disturbing considering what he was up to. Yeah, it all went down in 2010 during Oprah's Do You Believe in Miracles segment where she interviewed John of God. That definitely boosted his profile and gave him a lot more fame. But then we found out he was a total creep. Oprah did say she empathizes with the women who spoke out against him, but by then the damage was already done. And you're spot on. There are also other rumors swirling around about Oprah and some of her connections, like Jeffrey Epstein. It raises a lot of questions about the people she chooses to associate with and the impact of those relationships. Diddy is really in the hot seat right now, facing some serious legal troubles and scandal. There are allegations flying around about ST and recording politicians, and it's turning into a huge mess for him. With multiple multiple legal battles on his plate, including a federal investigation into the tea claims, people close to him are starting to sweat. Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, believes it's not just celebrities who should be worried. In a recent chat on the Art of Dialogue YouTube channel, he mentioned that Diddy has had some big names, like politicians and even preachers, partying it up at his mansions. Deal was pretty straightforward, saying, "I don't think it's only celebrities going to be shook. He had politicians in there, he had princes in there. I'm sure the feds have got tapes of all kinds of stuff." He also touched on the lawsuit from Cassie Ventura, who accused Diddy of some seriously questionable behavior during their time together at his so-called freak-off parties. It's looking like there might have been some sneaky surveillance happening at Diddy's places. And let's not forget that another rapper, Rodney Lil Rod Jones, claimed that Diddy was filming these wild parties with hidden cameras.
A 79-page lawsuit filed by a music producer who claims to have worked with and lived with Sean Combs for a period of time alleges there were underage girls, hidden cameras, and at his home.
But what are these freak-offs really about? Many witnesses have suggested that they've seen some pretty wild gay activities happening at these parties. That's when Diddy's significant other got questioned. And it doesn't stop there. Gene Deal has claimed that Diddy himself frequented Turkish baths multiple times, adding even more fuel to the fire surrounding these allegations.
You know what they do in the Turkish baths?
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't? Okay. That's where a lot of gay men meet. And they all take hot baths together.
Talking about Cassie's lawsuit, it also included forcing her to have S with multiple male prostitutes while he watched and recorded. The lawsuit refers to the alleged SE incidents as freakouts, claiming that they occurred in various hotel suites, including at the Trump International Hotel in New York. Among the serious allegations is the accusation that Diddy engaged in ST involving Cassie, directing her to male prostitutes while he observed for S pleasure. The lawsuit asserts that she was instructed to cover herself with oil and engage in S activities with multiple men, sometimes in masks and costumes.
They had to be for both of them. They was in the room, right?
You're right.
It's a freak-off section.
The lawsuit mentions that there were tens of thousands of dollars in damages to the hotel. According to Cassie's claims, she was responsible for handling all the logistics, including picking the location and hiring male S workers for these events. She alleges that Diddy even told her to use websites and escort services to find guys with large black, well, you know what I mean? The lawsuit states that Diddy pressured her to make these encounters a weekly occurrence, repeatedly telling Cassie it was our thing and our secret.
Oh, she didn't want it, but Cassie, who searched for the big black, and she was searching for the big black.
Cassie claimed that these freak-offs frequently happened in hotel suites, including spots like the Trump International Hotel in Columbus Circle, L'Hermitage, Beverly Hills, the London Hotel in Los Angeles, and intercontinental hotels all over the country. According to the lawsuit, Diddy's assistants would help set up these events, providing baby oil and lubricant. The lawsuit details that Mr. Combs always supplied Miss Ventura and the S worker with copious amounts of D before and during the FOs. It also claims that Cassie was given a cocktail of drugs like ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, meth, and amphetamines in excessive amounts, which allowed her to disassociate during these disturbing encounters. It became a regular thing for her to get IV fluids afterward to recover from the substances she was pressured to take. Cassie alleges that Diddy would instruct her to pour large amounts of oil on herself and then direct both her and the male workers on what to do. She claims he would say things like, "Grab that big black," and ask her, "How does it feel?" while directing her to perform for him. It's all incredibly troubling. She claimed Diddy would ask her to pour excessive amounts of oil over herself before he instructed her and the S workers what to do. Mr. Combs would say things like, "Grab that big black D," and ask her, "How does it feel?" as he directed her to perform for him, the lawsuit states. Diddy allegedly used his phone, laptop, and tablet to film the freak-offs, treating it like a personal art project and adjusting the lighting. She eventually left the home he paid for and returned the car he purchased for her. But Cassie said she suffers from immense emotional distress from the immense trauma endured over a decade with Mr. Combs. Cassie said that although she has fully escaped Diddy, the harm that the A and SA he caused her to experience for nearly a decade will forever haunt her. The lawsuit claims she has required intensive medical and psychological care to recover from trauma she lived through.
So if he want to see it and he want her to touch it, that other person in the room with her just might want to feel it.
In a different context, Oprah Winfrey has also openly discussed her challenging moments, acknowledging Bishop TD, and according to Kat, both Oprah and Tyler are also involved in ruining his career. Jakes was instrumental in helping her through what she describes as one of the lowest points in her life. Bishop TD Jakes shared a sermon titled Save the Scraps, and Oprah, with her substantial following of 34 million on Twitter, retweeted the message, expressing how the sermon had helped her during a difficult time. In her tweet, she expressed, "This sermon helped me when I was at my lowest." And Jakes' sermon delved into the theme of patiently waiting for God to structure things appropriately before bestowing miraculous blessings, emphasizing the importance of personal preparation to receive the magnitude of what God has in store. The best miracles in your life take time to not be driven by hunger or need or necessity. Sometimes you've got to get yourself structured and in order so that you're ready to receive the magnitude of what God has for you, Jakes said in the sermon. Bishop TD Jakes underscores the significance of maintaining order, time management, and structure in the pursuit of one's goals. He cautions against overlooking the necessary foundations required to bear the weight of what God has in store. Jakes highlights the tendency of some driven individuals to neglect essential structures vital for sustaining their given responsibilities. Oprah Winfrey, a long-standing admirer of Jakes, has publicly expressed her respect for him on multiple occasions. Prior to the release of her TV church drama Greenleaf earlier this year, Winfrey consulted with Jakes to seek his blessing and assure him that the series was not inspired by him, his family, or his congregation. During a May Conda session with the media, Winfrey shared insights from her conversation with Jakes, stating, "I spoke to TD Jakes and said, I just want you to know I'm doing a show about a megachurch, and the only resemblance to you is that our main character is called Bishop and you're a bishop." He said, "I'm happy to hear that because I've heard some things about it." Winfrey emphasized her profound respect for the church and assured Jakes that she would not do anything to disrespect it. In Oprah Winfrey's series Greenleaf, penned by Craig Wright, the script revolves around the dysfunction within the church and the family of Bishop James Greenleaf. Despite the focus on the flaws within the church and its members, Oprah stressed her deep connection to the Black church, stating, "I am who I am, sitting here today because of the Black church." During discussions with Bishop TD Jakes before the show's release, Oprah clarified that the series was not based on Jakes or his congregation. Instead, it aimed to explore the complexities and imperfections within the church. She conveyed this to Jakes, saying, "It has nothing to do with you." And he said, "All right, can you send me a ticket?" And if Oprah is so supportive to Jakes, people are suggesting that she and Diddy might have worked together. One person wrote, "Oprah thinks she's untouchable." Another one added, "Surprised? Check well, none of those top celebrities has non-controversial image or reputation. They all have dirty's hands." That's it for today. See you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.